Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Code of Princess for the PC. The game was developed by Studio Suzuzen and published by Dekiga Games and was released on Steam in 2016. The game itself is an old-fashioned 2D style hack and slash adventure which originally started out as a Nintendo 3DS game, which was then remastered for the PC and then later on the Nintendo Switch. However, is this game any good, I hear you cry? Well, let's have a look and find out more in this review. The game story has you playing as Princess Solange, whose kingdom has become invaded by monsters. Now with her kingdom under monster rule, it's up to Princess Solange and her legendary sword to defeat the monsters, gather a crew together, build up an army, kill a leader of the monster horde, and then restore peace to the land once more. It's your typical heroes rising up to defeat the evil enemy army scenario, but as the old saying goes, if it isn't broken, then don't fix it. And this works perfectly well for this game's story, as cliche as it may be, it works perfectly here. Character-wise, you will start off with just Princess Solange, but very quickly into the game's story, you're going to be running into many other adventurers who will aid you and join you on your quest against the demon horde. During your adventures, you'll gain rather a lot of allies, and possibly even if you're able to meet certain requirements depending on which missions you're on, you can unlock certain settings which open brand new characters for the game's versus mode. With the main group in the main story, you're going to be getting a mixed bag of your usual favourites, ranging from all-rounders to knights, mages, thieves, bards, and more. Really, it's what you expect to find among this bunch of brilliantly created characters. Gameplay for Code of Princess works via the traditional side-scrolling beat-em-up method, mixed in with RPG elements and a few others thrown in as well. So yes, if you were looking at the game on the Steam store page and were wondering, is this anything like Guardian Heroes on the Sega Saturn put on the PC? Well, the answer to that is both yes and no. Whilst the game does share many elements from classic games such as Guardian Heroes, it also boasts a whole bunch of its own and its own methods of play which can and can't improve gameplay depending on your style and method. Also, I do want to point out with this game's gameplay that there is an online mode, which sadly is already dead, and when I tried to see if I could join any server at all, I tried for around about an hour and just nothing happened. I then later on searched several forums and a few other places as well. I asked questions to various other people, and practically just no one plays this game online anymore, or even at all when it first came out. So, if you are looking at this game and are thinking of getting this for the online mode, then it might be an idea to possibly try recommending this game to some of your friends as well, so that if you do want to play the game online, you'll at least have someone to play with. Now, let's move on to Code of Princess's graphics, because here's where things start to get a little confusing, misleading, and slightly puzzling. As I have stated before, this game originally started out as a Nintendo 3DS game, which was then later re-released for the PC, and then later re-released for the Nintendo Switch. The PC version is meant to be a HD rendered version of the game from the original 3DS version, a lot like what WayForward did with Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive Edition, only it's not being done quite as well, it seems. You see, with the game being a Nintendo 3DS game originally, you're always going to have issues with the second touchscreen, with that being a problem. You would think that the easiest solution to this, and to get around this method, would be just to add everything on the main screen itself, and have it be the main screen. And then for the second screen, you simply just have it as another menu that pops up when you pause game. From my understanding, this was done with the later re-release EX edition on the Nintendo Switch, but sadly this just hasn't been done for the PC release. So instead, now when you play this game on the PC, when you start the game, you have to press something like F5, which I'm going to show here, which opens up a second screen, and this just basically works a lot like the Nintendo 3DS emulator Citra, and I honestly don't really know why this has been done like this. It's bad enough that the resolution for the game isn't even in proper full 16:9 ratio, and instead the game has these annoying borders on each side of the screen, as you can clearly see in this video. But to also add this second window option just seems completely baffling. Why do this when the latest Nintendo Switch release version shows that with just a little bit more effort, you can get perfect results quite easily? The graphics for the PC version just come across as being quite lazy. The game's level design works pretty much like that of any past side-scrolling fighting game, which I'm sure we've all played out there before. So if you have ever played a fighting game such as Final Fight, Streets of Rage, Guardian Heroes, or any game which follows along those suits, then you'll know exactly what to expect here. Characters will start from one location in a stage, beat up monsters, move on to the next area, beat up more monsters, possibly a boss, and then move on to a newer stage. The levels themselves are all extremely well crafted and created, taking from various locations such as city streets, local taverns, graveyards, forests, and more. They are all exceptionally well done and thought out, and really my only complaint about them is that I would have to say that they do feel quite small and short, depending on what quest you're trying to do. And now here is the main question. Should you buy Code of Princess on the PC? Honestly, I'm not really too sure on this one, and I think it's a difficult question to answer, and it really will depend on the individual themselves and why you would be buying this game in the first place. Currently on Steam, the game has mixed reviews, and this is down to various reasons which I've already mentioned in the video, but it basically boils down to the fact that the port isn't as good as it could and should have been, and that awful feeling that PC users will be left with is now even worse so thanks to the Nintendo Switch EX Edition, that proves that if you give the game a little bit more time and effort and polish, you'll get a better game all around. Another thing that I want to point out about this game is that the English voice dubs, which I loved in the Nintendo 3DS port, for some reason have been gutted here without any explanation at all. The game isn't true 16:9 ratioed, the sprites look pixelated and blown up, the gameplay feels slower than it should be, and you're just left feeling that it's an okay game rather than it should have been an amazing one. So, as you can quickly see, the game seems to be piling up with various issues which really shouldn't be there in the first place. It's just equal to the game getting the mixed reviews that it's gotten on Steam. Code of Princess is by no means a bad game, and I did enjoy it and I would recommend it if you can get it on a Steam sale. However, it just doesn't feel like a great of experience as what it should be, and seeing the Nintendo Switch version, the EX Edition, which looks absolutely beautiful, it just makes this PC port feel so inferior. I would say that it might be an idea to wait and see if the EX Edition does ever come to Steam, but honestly I don't think that's going to happen now because the game has been out on the Switch for over a year, and I don't think that we're going to get the EX Edition on Steam anytime soon, or if at all. And so because of that, this may be your only choice to play this amazing game, even though it's got a lot of flaws. Would I recommend Code of Princess to gamers out there? Yes, I would, but I would say that this might not appeal to everyone, as it just doesn't feel like a fully completed project. Well, that's it for this review guys. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.